So what motivated you to file that affidavit on February 5th? What motivated you to come now?
Because when we read, on January 22nd, the attorney got the transcript. He read the transcript after the inauguration, and then he said, okay, there were some, and he had promised the chairman of the committee that we might have to review this and fill in some information.
I can answer that question because I'm the one who did it. All right, what happened was that I asked for the official transcripts to be sent to my offices. I reviewed the official transcripts, and in the transcripts there was some information that the committee had asked of us that we couldn't provide at the time. In addition to that, once I looked at the questions that were actually asked, there was some additional information that we could have offered on that. So I picked up the telephone, I called the chairman of the committee, Barbara Flynn Curry, and I said, there's some information that we owe you, and I think that we could also offer other information on some questions that was asked. And I asked her, what should I do? She asked me to put it together in an affidavit and to file it with her office. And that's exactly what we did. In fact, we received the transcripts on the 22nd. We responded on the 23rd to the chairman. And she instructed us as to what to do from that point in time.
Why didn't the senator's office make this affidavit public? It came out only, it seems, as a result of the Sun-Times.
Well, we did make it public. We made it public by filing it in the record with the impeachment committee. And we did that before there was, we contacted the chairman and asked her when she wanted us to send it. She told us when and how to send it, and we complied with that.
Why not hold a news conference that same day saying we have forwarded this information to Barbara Flynn Curry, now we're going to tell the public? Why did you not do that?
Isn't it all about transparency?
I thought we've been absolutely transparent in this matter. Everything we've done has been transparent. We've answered every question at each point in time. So no, it's not about transparency. For me, it was about being thorough and making sure that the senator, as was his desire, is open and has offered everything that he's known to this process.
When did the FBI come to you, and what are they asking you for?
The FBI has not come to us.
Okay,
they're not asking us for anything.
I'm sorry, the senator, I think, just said that the FBI or prosecutors haven't.
No, he said there may have been some contact, and they haven't asked us for anything.
Can you tell us what the name of that contact is?
No, I cannot.
Can you tell us when that occurred?
No, I cannot.
But they informed you that you were picked up on a wiretap.
No, they have not, and we cannot speak to that, okay?
Why not?
Well,
because I said we can't.
Well, then you're right. You were aware that Robert Blagojevich's phone was being tapped. So
that's what we understand. I guess that's how this got leaked out. But we didn't know anything about that.
But wouldn't you then surmise that your client's voice was heard on those?
Well, it might have been, but I've also, my client came out on his own, voluntarily, several weeks ago and did this. I think whatever he has put in his affidavit, if he is on tape, I think it's going to be wholly consistent.
Which affidavit? I mean, with all due respect, you said there's nothing inconsistent, yet we now have three different versions.
Well, you don't have three different versions.
I'm sorry. Please let me
wait a
finish.
minute.
No, let me finish, please.
Excuse me.
No, excuse me. We have one affidavit that came out that you voluntarily submitted, in which you said your own contact.
Rich, the first affidavit dealt with the appointment. The appointment. Read the first affidavit.
Okay.
Okay? So it was very consistent. I had no contact with anybody in reference to the appointment. Okay? Then the second then we had the testimony on the transcript. The second affidavit then dealt with contacts that I had about the Senate seat. Look at the difference. One dealt with the appointment. That's all we were dealing with. The other one dealt with the Senate seat, and I talked to a whole lot of people about the Senate seat, so there's no inconsistency. And I'm asking the media people to really look at that, read the record, and you will see that what we're saying, there is no type of, any type of hiding or trying to slip something by somebody. It's completely honest, it's completely forthright, and it certainly is the truth.
Well, what would you say to your critics who say, indeed, that this is not the truth, who say that these are amounts to lies?
It's based on what you all are writing. And you all are writing inconsistent information. I mean, I hear on the TV news somebody says last night, well, if Roland Burris lied, should he resign? I mean, if the media lied, should they resign? I mean,
Senator, can you do one favor for me?
Sure.
Make the distinction between no contact in reference to an appointment and no contact in reference to a Senate seat when the appointment was for the Senate seat. I just want to clarify what's the difference between the two.
In our affidavit, which we submitted voluntarily, the first one, we were told that the impeachment committee was going to inquire us about the appointment, how I got appointed by the governor. And then we said in our affidavit that the only contact I had with anybody dealing with the governor was when the lawyer contacted me to talk to me about the appointment. So that's what that affidavit addressed. That affidavit addressed the appointment. There was no contact with anybody in the governor's office about the appointment. And then at the impeachment committee hearing, then Representative Durkin goes into all these names. And this is key, and I hope the media, distinguished colleagues of the media, get this correct. Because the answer was to all of those names was yes. But now had he come back, like we did with Lon Monk, and said, what about the other ones, I would have happily answered, but we went off in a different direction, and when we get the transcript, we see these names in here, and I advised the lawyer that, I had contact with these people, and we got to submit the information that I had with them. That's what prompted us to voluntarily submit another affidavit because we had not responded to those names. I mean, this is what transpired. I don't know what you all would like to say.
Don't you feel as though you have an obligation, though, sitting there before the impeachment committee and you want to follow up with questions, just to be clear for transparent reasons as a possible incoming senator?
If they had asked me and not taken me into a different direction and followed up, if Durkin had followed up with another question rather than, I don't know where we went, but the transcript was short, we didn't stay in that area.
We went. Have it on your own, just coming back to it on your own.
But I didn't even recall. I was then thinking of the process. That whole name list had passed, and I was going then to concentrate because I think Representative Flowers asked me a question about pay to play or something, and so and then Fritchie got into that, and there was a big discussion, and so nobody ever came back to the list of names.
So you're blaming the impeachment committee. You're blaming the impeachment committee.
Look, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just stating what happened.